goodness. Okay, I'm gonna try to do this video. Mic issues for sure. I'm using Drombo now, which is crazy, right? I never thought I would get into this, but thanks to Echo Opera and his encouragement and videos and things of that nature, been able to explore a little bit. So I'm going to showcase one form of my workflow in here, and then I have another one that I'll showcase maybe later, but they're very similar. So check this out. Flexi sampler is my thing, okay? I love it. So what it allows me to do is similar to what I would do in Koala, is just sample some chords or sample from the radio or whatever that case may be. And just like in Koala, I would chop the samples. Well, you can do that in this too. So check this out. Here's the chords that I played. By the way, before I show you that, this reminds me of Ableton in a lot of ways, with the layout here going across. So I put in scalar 2, and then here's my keys. And so just so you can hear what that sounds like. Okay, but what it's doing is, after I sampled in these chords the way they were initially, I'm using this random feature here. See where it says random? So I'm turning on random, setting it to slice. And what it's doing is it's chopping, or playing rather, a different slice every time I press the key. So you'll see C2 on here. By the way, the hitting you hear in there is my finger. I'm using a microphone from the iPad, and it's severely strong, so it's picking up everything, unfortunately. Doesn't matter what I hit, it's gonna play a random note. Now what it does is, as you go up, is it's pitching it. Whatever note is playing is pitching. So you can do some really cool randomization and have the pitch, and you can control the speed as well as the pitch. So I added to this bit juggler, and I have a Roland MS SP 202, I think is what it, MS1 SP 202 vibe, right? That I've created with the 12-bit. So that kind of adds to the flavor. And then I use the EOS 2 ambience. I've shown you guys that in a video. That's one of my favorite reverbs on iOS. So that together, and then using the random, you'll see on this, what do they call that? Step sequencer. Hey, I'm using a step sequencer. That's crazy in itself. I'm not used to that. But I'm just putting in C2 all the way, and then what I'll do is do this and run it across. So you gotta make sure you take it off there. Boom. So if you want to see what it looks like, you press this and find the notes, and there they are. They're pretty even, which is fine. So it's going to play a randomized chord each time, and playing it as C2 is like playing, I think based on what my understanding, that's like playing middle C. Yeah, because that's too high. Okay, so that sounds just like the chords would sound without being pitched. Okay, so in this method, I'm not really pitching or doing anything like that, because I'm just trying to play the chords in a random. I put down like 8 chords. Some of them are the same. I think actually all of them are the same, except for there's about 4 total in there. And then I'll just set that up. Okay. Now in Drombo, you have 8 tracks. And that might seem like not enough. But the interesting thing about Drombo is you can stack, and I'm not going to show you in this video because I just learned this myself, that you can put other sounds in one track and then have them controlled with a different function, which I can't remember the name of it, so I'm not going to worry about that right now. All right. So you see here, this is the opportunity to change your velocity, your gate, offset, the probability, etc., etc. Get out of there. On track 2, one of my favorite thing to make those little fractal bit sounds is fractal bits. So each one, as you touch it, let me close it out and show you. Okay. There we go. All right. So check this out. Let's go back to track number 2. And so here we have another situation where it's random. I recorded in all of these that were there. I locked in the ones that I wanted to keep. Okay. And then I recorded them in, and then I made a couple different spots for the random to kind of make it somewhat rhythmic. I'm sorry. So let's show you what each one sounds like as I go so you can hear them. So here's the chords. And what's cool is it's literally just playing. I'm gonna go here. It's playing 4 chords, but it's playing random 4. So a couple times you might hear it play the same chord. So that's kind of cool. Now I'm gonna show you something I did to make it where it gives it a little more variety. Instead of just putting in 4 chords and saying, well, that's the only 4 I need, I played it in a rhythm that I would like, and I used the humanize feature so I could play right on the screen. And I always put the humanize on both so that you get the variety of the velocity and the timing. That's crucial, because then when you play it, it's going to sound a bit different each time. And by the way, you're sampling directly into this sampler, okay? Just like you would do on Koala if you chopped them, in same principle. But in this case, this is helping me play it. Now I'll show you some other things I do a little bit different when I'm sampling from the radio. Because in that case, I'm really trying to make the sound my own based on whatever I can get out of that sample, right? So it's a little bit different, but similar. All right, so I fell in love with this MU lag delay, which is mood units. And I talked about it in a previous video, but it's so simple of a delay, but it's not overpowering. So it sits in the mix and sits in with the whatever you put it on really nicely, and not overly what's the word I'm looking for? Excessively annoying, I guess you should say. So here on this, I did an offset just about 25%, increase the velocity, set the slice to random, but instead of doing the mode as one shot or one slice, I did it as one shot. And then in here, if you come in here, okay, you can see right here, you can set slices or detect transients. When you have something spaced out like this, just hit the transients. Saves you a lot of time. No use in doing slices. What else? Yeah, I'll show you something else that I've been doing. So the idea here for me was just each time I hit it's going to do a little fractal beat that's different. There's about, what? How many are there? 12? Yeah, 12. 12 different ones. So you got 12 possibilities as it goes across rhythmically. All right, let's listen to what this one sounds like. So we're going to solo it out. So I would call this kind of my percussive background track, rhythm track. And the delay helps to add a little bit spice to it, you know? So it doesn't get boring ever. Yeah, cool. Now, I know a lot of people think that I mostly do hip hop, jazz, R&B, and they ain't lying. That's what I do probably most of the time. But occasionally I get bored and you have to step away from what you normally do and just do something that's different to inspire you. So that's kind of what this is, but it's still got a little bit of me in it because it's got some structure, but at the same time there's a lot of randomness. So I'm exploring. Nothing wrong with that. All right. Track number 3. So I used the barista. I think I said that right. Hope I'm not overdoing it. Put the rum reverb on that. And it's honestly, let's see, that's E. Honestly, all I'm doing is holding this down for the whole thing. So it's a trigger. See if it would trigger. Oh, because I have the other one on solo. Let me take that one off. You hear that? So I sorry about the background noise. I got my family's doing stuff in the back, so it is what it is. All right. So that's that. And then let's move on to the last one. Actually, I got another one. I take that back. So I'm trying to get into, I think you pronounce it Fuig machine. I'm probably jacking that up. Now, this to me would be good, and it's probably at its best for creating some unique melodies. But because you can use 1, 2, 3, 4, or just one, you can actually write a bass line in it. And what's unique about this thing to me that I've learned is that you pretty much just need to know what scale you're in, set the bar length, and if you put those in, the scales that you're in, every note you touch is in the scale, right? So you can write your bass line by just writing your bass line, right? If you touch the little music note, you can change the tempo or how it plays, where it's going to start. I like to put the octave in, so I put it down 2 octaves for the bass. You could pitch the notes if you want. And that's just where I left it at. So I made a little simple bass line, nothing major, but this is what it sounds like. There you go. That's a two bar basically bass line. Now I could have done it more, but I don't mind the bass line kind of being 2 bars like that in this type of experiment because it's me trying to do something different than what I would normally do. So normally I would sit there and play 8 to 16 bars on that bass. But in my exploration here, I'm trying to change the things that I would normally do and just experiment with some of the other stuff, just trying it out. All right, last but not least, my newfound step recording drum machine that I like the most. I've tried Playbeat, which I enjoy and I still use it. I tried the drum computer. The problem I have with the drum computer is I can't bring my own samples in. And it's not that I don't enjoy making sounds and things of that nature, but I kind of get bored quickly and I need to have some freedom with regards to bringing in my sounds. So I heard you can, but I heard it's extremely hard to do. The way they set it up, I guess the file system is a pain in the butt. That's the best way I could describe it. All right, EOS 2 ambience, put it at 10% on my drums just to give them a little air. This particular one, because I don't want this song to be like punching and kicking your face out. It's supposed to be more of a chill, ambient, relaxing, somewhat jazzy, moody type song. That was a long description. I just wanted none of the extra beefiness, right? This is a simple, I used the Eldre drum kit, picked out some of the samples I like in the kit, which I do recommend. It's a great kick, great kit, because everything in it is super useful. So if you like Eldre's stuff, check it out and grab his kit. This is volume 4 that I'm using. Okay, so this is number, where are we at? 5? Well, my stomach's growling. I already ate. So let me go to the main track and solo the drums so you can hear just what it sounds like. All right, here we go. Yeah. All right, let's put these keys in. Let's do everything. Ready? So it's got a little groove. Yep. All right. What's cool though is because everything minus the bass has some randomness to it. So you'll hear a little glitch, a little ratchet sometimes throughout the drums. But this is only a 1-bar drum. But I'm using the chants, I'm using the randomness to make it sound like it's more than that, right? And that to me is very fascinating, something I've never really tampered with because I'm used to just playing it all the way out. And I'm still gonna do that, but this is something different, and it's making me actually use the iPad more, which is something I haven't really been doing much lately because I get bored real easy. Mine is Koala. You'll see me use Koala. All right. So all these apps, might as well use them. And what's cool is I showed you in a recent video that you can use the IDAM connected where you can to the MacBook. So you could basically just plug in and hook your USB-C up and then just record your tracks out. And because this is random, you could let it just play on and on and on. But like AUM, you can record the master and each track. So you see the little record symbol there? So if you put them all on and then press play, it records them and sends them to a file so that you have all the loops. So you could do a live performance technically, similar to you might do in AUM, also similar for those that use Koala. I know in Koala you can perform the song and record the song. So that's pretty cool. So maybe you want your intro where you have only one thing that's soloed, and then you bring everything else in. You might do that. You might start out with just some fractal bits or something like that, like so. Well, I'm not going to record this, so let me just turn that off. But I'm just going to show you what I mean. Something like that. And you have 2 bus effects, I guess. So A and B. So you could put something there. Or like I have on the master chain, go ahead and throw your little Pro Q3 or whatever you have if you have tone booster. I like the Saturn for a little dirt, a little distortion, just to grit it up a little bit. and then gives it a little live feel, and then the haze too. You know, that's my favorite. Just to widen the track out, and then at the end, I would probably put. It's gonna get a little loud. Just giving you a fair warning. And of course, I've got to remember these are in alphabetical order, which throws me off. Barricade. Little compressor limiter at the end to get your track loud. There you go. And if you want to do something real crazy, check this out. Go in here, generator. I think I've been preaching this out for a minute, huh? Radio AU. We just need some talking. Let's see if I can find it for you.
You'll find him here.
How can you still be so certain?
Did you look at the headpiece the king is wearing? And the witch doctors? Those stones are diamonds. Uncut diamonds.
King Solomon's mines. But we also know what their intentions are.
Well, they seem to respect the power of our rifles. We'll be safe for a while.
But you said our ammunition's almost gone.
That's something they don't know.
Alan, you kept repeating Henry's name. You kept asking them.
Yes, and they recognize it. As near as I can tell, they mean to take us to him.
They're calling to us. They want us to follow them.
We'd better go. It's just one more chance.
Please, it will soon be over. Alan, will I must tell you.
It's all right, Beth. There's nothing to say that I don't know.
Thank you.
A dozen Watutsi led us out of the village. About a mile away, at the base of a rocky crest, was an entrance to a cave. With them, inside, dark, lurching shadow, and almost every passageways, but our leader hesitated. Suddenly, a chamber opened with a low, cliche, filled with constant sound. Here, I paused. Here.
He's pointing.
Just keep it.
Out. Yes. Filled with and then been
So the radio will keep
Loosen.
going. That's the only
Seal.
issue. You gotta just make sure you revisit. Mute it. I do know with AUM, one of the things is it's easier to. Now, by the way, I could have just hit the mute here. Probably would have been the better choice. But it is easier to move tracks like out and mute a track if you don't want it to be playing. It's a little more challenging with this one, I'll say, which is something I think they could do where maybe, I know you can, I think it's swipe up. Hold on, let me do this. Swipe down is mute. Swipe up is solo, right? So if you can get used to those gestures, you can use those to quickly mute a track if you wanted to, which is kind of cool. So anyway, that's all I got. I just wanted to show you what I'm doing in Drombo. The next time I do it with Drombo, I'll show you what I do with the sampling. It's a little more challenging with the sampling because, especially if you sample in the radio, you gotta like really catch something that is quality. Sometimes I can make it sound better, but usually it's that moment of catching something, right? Let me go ahead and save this. That's another thing. Drombo will crash on you, so make sure you save. But check this out since I got you. This is just a taste of what one of the sample tracks I did on here when I was messing around. So take a listen. Tell me what you think. Yep. So fun times. We'll talk about this maybe the next time. This little feature here where you're able to load things down at different fractions or speed it up. That's what's cool to me, especially when you're going to the sampling, where you're not sampling like some chords in, but you're sampling something from the radio. Drombo's dope. I was hating on it for a while. It wasn't my thing, step sequencing. But now that I see how it can be used in ways that I can make it useful, I really find it best though for sampling. I don't think I would use this if I was just trying to do my typical way of doing a track where I record through a DAW and record. But this for randomization stuff, I think it's A1. And I don't think it's anything on iOS that's better for that type of workflow. Now, we got a whole nother thing going if you're talking about an actual DAW workflow, because this is more like a groove box, a sampler, kind of like, I don't know, maybe an SP404 vibe, but added stuff that you can do. Or maybe it's like an Electron, but I've never used one, so I can't really tell you. But I've heard all kinds of stuff. I see a little Ableton. I see a little bit of Drombo. I'm sorry. AUM. I see Drombo with its own little uniqueness. But yeah, a lot of good stuff going on. I really dig it. The more I'm using it, the better I'm getting at it. So if you're interested, try it out. Got any questions? Ask me in the box. If I don't know the answer, I'll direct you to somebody that does. All right? I'm out.